North Korea has released video of 85-year-old Merrill Newman, an American veteran who served during the Korean War, confessing and apologizing to killing troops and civilians during the war. According to his family, Newman was detained while on a 10-day organized private tour of North Korea in October. The White House response says in part, quote, "Given Mr. Newman's advanced age and health conditions, we urge the DPRK to release Mr. Newman so he may return home and reunite with his family." The White House also urged North Korea authorities to release Kenneth Bae, another American who was held in the country for more than a year. Now, let me bring in CNN's Carl Penhall on the phone in Tokyo. And Carl, do we know if Merrill Newman has had any contact with Western officials?
Well, we do. In fact, we understand from the State Department that on Saturday, Swedish diplomats did visit Merrill Newman. We haven't had any word about the state of his health right now, but certainly good news that Swedish diplomats have had access to him. Of course, U.S. diplomats can't meet him because North Korea and the U.S. don't have diplomatic ties. Also, when one looks at the video where he's reading his purported confession, he also looks in reasonable health, Rosa.
Now, do you think his apology is going to help him any in this case?
Well, that really is a big question now. In the past, it may have been sufficient to make this kind of public apology to then be granted some kind of pardon and be sent on your way. Because of the issues right now, well, it's not quite clear. I have been talking to a number of political analysts here in Japan who follow very closely the North Korean situation, and they say that they believe this confession may be enough for the North Koreans in terms of propaganda purposes, and they may now be ready to release him. But they say that quite probably the North Koreans will be looking for some kind of diplomatic contact with the U.S. in order to work out logistics, and they may also insist on handing over Newman to some kind of high-level delegation. So a number of details to be worked out if, in fact, the North Koreans are preparing to release him, Rosa.
And what about Kenneth Bae, the other detained American? Could this help him? Could this hurt him?
The difference with Kenneth Bae is that obviously he's been held for a longer time. He's now been in custody in North Korea for a year. There's been little movement in terms of moves towards releasing him, and he's been sentenced to 15 years hard labor. So difficult to say what's going to happen in his case. And also, one must sound a note of warning. There is no guarantee that after this confession, Merrill Newman will be released, because after all, the things that they're accusing him of sound on the surface of it quite serious. They are certainly focusing on his military record during the Korean War and accusing him of being a member of a covert and clandestine unit that organized spying and sabotage activities behind enemy lines. And they say that on his return to North Korea, he tried to make contact with some of the former guerrillas that he would train in the past. And so we really do have to see over the coming days what the decision is on Newman, but certainly no further word on the fate of Kenneth Bae.